We are students conducting research at the School for Field Studies at the Center for Rainforest Studies in Queensland, Australia.
Australia has coexisted with wildfires for countless years, with many species having evolved to rely upon fires. Fire fills an important ecological role to allow fire-dependent species to flourish. But when not kept in check, severe wildfires can cause devastating harm to humans and wildlife and habitats.
Australia has seen a 350% increase in burned areas within 16 years. Including the devastating bushfires of 2019, this number increases to a whopping 800%. The 2019-2020 bushfires in Australia burned up to 19 million hectares of land, 12.6 million being woodlands and forests. This had an impact on almost 3 million animals.
20 million people were impacted by smoke from the 2019 to 2020 fires. This has inspired research into ways to prevent and control the spread of fires. Conventional methods of fire control include controlled burns and buffer zones, but another method that's not so conventional that we've looked into is green firebreaks. Green firebreaks can be used in tandem with these conventional methods to improve fire prevention methods and minimize spread of fires. Green firebreaks are strips of low flammability plants used strategically to slow or stop wildfires. The plants used have traits like high moisture content, aka fleshy leaves, thick bark, and high salt content. They protect communities, ecosystems, promote biodiversity, and enhance habitat connectivity.
Littoral rainforests occur in coastal areas such as headlands, dunes, flats, and sea cliffs within 2 kilometers of the coast and are critically endangered due to clearing and fragmentation. They provide an important buffer to wind damage and erosion and contain a closed canopy of rainforest with trees, shrubs, vines, and ground layers.
Here at SVS, we have conducted studies on plant flammability on rainforest, savanna, dry forest, riparian forest, and crop species. For this study, we are seeing the flammability of littoral forests to understand if they have a potential to be part or to be used in a green firebreak.
Our research is specifically looking at how moisture loss influences flammability. With droughts and high temps becoming more common, it is important to understand how this may influence flammability.
We collected 5 species from the Mission Beach area and 6 from Ellis Beach near Cairns.
For all the species, we burnt 8 70-centimeter long branches per species after drying at ambient temperature outside for 24 hours.
We preheated specimens on the grill for 2 minutes, which mimics an approaching fire front before ignition. After 2 minutes, we start the video and then ignite them with the MAP gas torch for 10 seconds.
After we record the number of seconds the specimen burns for, we visually estimate the percentage of burnt biomass.
Hundo P.
And record the max temperature reached during burning.
So to estimate flame height, we go back through our videos that we took and I slowly compare the flame at its highest point to this ruler. Then I check it on this close-up on my computer.
The flammability of plants that we want to grow in green firebreaks is obviously an important aspect to consider, but I think we also need to take into consideration the ease of propagating these plants, or if we're going to buy them, they need to be economically feasible to obtain in large quantities to grow in firebreaks.
We conducted a review of information regarding these species to synthesize a cost-benefit analysis. Based on this, some of our least flammable species had some drawbacks. Snake plant was very resistant to fire, but it is expensive to purchase. Sea lettuce, on the other hand, has a more reasonable cost, but it is considered invasive in some areas outside of Australia, which impacts its potential use in firebreaks.
After we collected all of our data, we put it into a couple different types of graphs to help visualize it. This heat map is a helpful visualization of the flammability of the species we looked at. They are ranked in descending order from least to most flammable, with darker red colors denoting higher flammability and pale yellow denoting minimal flammability. This flammability rating is broken up for maximum temperature, flame height, burnt biomass, and burn time along the bottom axis for each species.
From our analysis, reviewing flammability metrics as well as cost and propagation viability for 11 species of littoral plants, we found that it's very important to take all factors into account when researching possible candidates for firebreaks. Our least flammable species, snake plant and sea lettuce, are succulent plants that could be best for a low-cut firebreak, while our intermediate species such as sea almond, sea hearse, and native cashew would be ideal for larger hedges.
Our cost-benefit analysis proved to be essential to this process, as Alexandrian laurel, which showed very little flammability, is not widely commercially available and also very tedious to grow, thus making it not a realistic candidate. We believe future studies should continue to focus on the economic and growth viability of possible firebreak plants, as well as look deeper into leaf litter studies and how the drying out of leaves over time can influence their flammability.
And remember, stay cool.